When you build your application, either front end or back end, you always have to work with what we call environmental keys or variables, which include, are not limited to, API URLs, database URIs, or third-party API keys. These are very sensitive and you don't want to leak them to the public. And so you have to have them in a dedicated file, that is a .env file, or what we call the environmental file. And then during a deployment, you won't push this to your deployment environment. Instead, you'll add it as environmental key on your hosting service. Now, I'm going to show you how to do this on Azure Static Web Apps. A good example, here I have my Vue application, a Vue frontend. And in my Vue frontend, I have my API URL here. Now, this is for my development. My production environment, I have the URL of the deployed or live backend API. Now, to do that, let's go to our portal. Now, here is where I've deployed the client application, which is Vue. And we can actually test the live URL by clicking on this link here. Now, what happens is that when you come back to your portal right here, we have a section named environmental variables. When I click on that, that should give me a form where I need to add the keys that I have for my application. So let's see what we have here. Now, you see what I have here is Vite backend URL. And then I have URL itself here. Now, when I come back to my local environment, it is what we call Vite API URL. So it should be Vite API URL. So I'll copy that and just come back to the portal right here and advance edit and change it from Vite backend URL to Vite API URL. I will do this right here. Just change it to Vite API URL. Then click OK. So that should work. Then apply again. And that will work. Now, in some cases, this may not work, and I've experienced this problem of late when setting my keys in the environmental variables here. It doesn't work. A good example is this won't work for me. It didn't work when I tested it. And my API itself is working, and we can test that by just copying this link. Let me copy that link so that we can test it on the browser to see that it actually works. So this is it. Copy that. And on coming to a new tab here, paste, I can just go to the root URL where we have the test. Hello homology. So that is it. You see, my API is working, and even if I go to documents, which is API/v1/documents, I'll get back some data, and you see I have them here. All right. Now, if you set your environmental variables on the portal and doesn't work, do you have another way of doing that? Of course we have. You can do that on your GitHub repository. So to do that, you need to come back to your GitHub repository, and mine is called Kalos Client. So in Kalos Client here, you need to go to settings, scroll on your left pane and check for secrets and variables, and then click on actions. So we're clicking on actions because we are using GitHub Actions for the deployment, because we have our workflow for the CI/CD using GitHub Actions. So now you come here and then you click Add New Repository. So if you come here, now give us the name. The name that we have there is Vite API URL, and then here you need to paste the actual URL, which is something like this. I'll copy this here, the actual API URL, copy it and paste it back here. Then click on Add Secret. But I'm not going to add it because I already have it added. So if I go back to secrets here, you see I have Vite API URL, which I set 5 hours ago. And you can actually even edit it. I don't want to update it because it's working, but still I can still edit it by doing this, taking this, Control A, Control C, and go back here and paste it. Then update the API URL. But since my API is versioned, I need to give it API/version1. Okay, that is what we get. Now I need to authenticate. Let me just do that real quick. From my phone, I need to just type 21 and we'll be good to go. Great, authenticated. So that will load, and then we just have it back there. After that, you need to go to your workflow file. Your workflow file is in the Actions tab here, because here is where we set the CI/CDs. So then open the workflow that is running, click on that, and then you can either click on this .yaml file here or click on workflow file. Either will work. So let me use this one, the .yaml file. So this will give me the workflow, the actions that will run, and the jobs and the steps that are needed to deploy our application to Azure Static Web App. Now here, you need to scroll down, and then we have the steps here. Now in steps, we have what it uses with what, the name with what, and then after specifying the app location, API location, and output location, add a new step that is, and call it .env. I mean, not .env, add env right here after the name step. Add it env here, then refer to it using the name, that is Vite API URL, and then pass the value that you had stored in your GitHub Secrets and Variables using this format here, ampersand, $, and then double curly braces, and then the name of the secret, and then you have to start with secrets.vite API URL. And with that, you will then commit. Let me just show you how it works. I can actually just change something. But by the way, once you have it here, you need to again commit. So to do that, let me just edit something small here. Yeah, maybe workflow. Yeah, so if you edit that, you will get this button here which says commit changes. So just click on commit changes, and then directly to the main branch, because that is our target branch for CI/CD that is used to deploy to Azure. Then click commit changes. So that will rebuild or rerun our workflow file to ensure that our client application, which is either Vue, React, or anything, is deployed, and it will have to access its environmental keys from GitHub variables and secrets. And that's how simple it is. So if you come back to actions right here, we should be able to see that it's building again. So that's how you set your environmental keys in Azure Static Web Apps. React or Vue will work. So thank you guys for watching. Osego Code signing out. Bye.